podcast, and I have a few guests with me today. Obviously, my normal co-host, which is Adam AGN Entertainment. How are you today, Adam?
Hello, Jamie. Yeah, good to be back, but pretty poor today, wasn't it? I know we're going to dive into it, but horrendously disappointing performance from England tonight, and I think we're all a little bit, wouldn't say shocked, but a little bit downcast about the performance tonight.
Yeah. Big P.
Yeah,
How are you today, mate? Sorry, I'm just wondering where Doc's gone. Doc's just vamoosed.
yeah. I'm good,
But anyways,
thank you, mate.
let me just introduce Big P to everyone. So our two special guests today, people, are Big P, and we've got Doc over from the Amateur Football Podcast over on YouTube. How are you today, Big P? How's everything going? How are you feeling after that performance, mate?
I was all right, mate, up until about probably 5:30, and then it all went downhill from there. But other than that, I'm all right.
Tell me about it, bro. Absolutely, tell me about it. I'm just gonna try and jump into it straight away because I don't know what's happened with Doc, but we're live. We've got 4 people in here. Just everyone remember, hit that 3-punch combination. So bam, 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 by liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. So I'm gonna start off. Very, very, very poor performance, people. I can't take. Everyone knows me as Positive J. This is not a positive podcast today, people. We can criticize players when they play poorly, and then we criticize. We use a safe space to do it, like this, and then tomorrow we move on from it. We get it all out the way and say how poorly they played, and then when we play the next game, everyone backs them again. It's quite simple. I think that's the way it's got to be. We criticize when they deserve to be criticized, but after that, once we criticise and we get it all out the way, then we move back over onto the next game. Can you sum up that performance for me, AGN Adam?
Yeah, I can. I mean, to be honest with you, really, really poor. I think the thing that I would say about the game is Harry Kane really should have come off earlier for me. The minute we brought Watkins on, better running. But look, that doesn't sort of paper over the cracks. It was a very, very poor performance today by the lads. We looked tired. We weren't pressing properly. The team they looked disjointed. And again, I don't think really any of the substitutes that came on made a huge amount of difference either. So it was just one of those performances that we've seen in tournaments of yesteryear, back in sort of 2010, 2014, poor energy, poor attacking performance, very sort of stilted in attack. The goal we did score, to be honest, Harry Kane put it in the onion bag, but he couldn't really miss that, could he? So I really thought we were actually very lucky to come away with a point in the game. I thought Denmark could well have taken it, actually, 2-1 potentially. I know we hit the post with Foden, but on the whole, disappointing performance, and it's hard to kind of come away from that with too many positives, if I'm honest.
Adam, you're gonna have to go down and because Doc's back in now, you're gonna have to tick him on because I can't do it on my end.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
So if you can go to the guests, because on my laptop I can't do it. It's not letting me do it. It's just scrolling down the other side of the screen, which is a bit unfortunate. But we'll move on over to Big P. Big P, can you see your screen here? Can you see where it says 1-1? It's got the England result over on Twitter. Can you see that over on your end?
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts, mate. Just first initial thoughts.
I thought it was. Do you know what, Jerry? We had the conversation this morning that it can't be no worse than what we watched the other night, and it was 10 times worse. I think, mate, if you want my honest opinion, get rid of him now. Ivory Coast did it in the African Cup of Nations. Sack him now. Get rid of him. Let the number 2 do the job, because I just can't see. There wasn't one player out there that I thought was good tonight.
No, neither.
The team was abysmal. I thought the wingers were scared to run at the defenders. I thought Bellingham was hopeless. The back 4 give away the ball far too cheaply for me. What was Harry Kane doing for their goal? What's he trying to do there?
Mate,
do you know Kane again, hopeless, like awful.
Yeah.
He puts the ball in the back of the net. All right, it takes 2 deflections before it gets to him. Sometimes you make your own luck, but do you know what, Jay? As I said, get rid of him now. Sack him now. Ivory Coast did it in the African Cup of Nations. They went on to win it. Sack him now. Give Pat Nevin the job. till the end of the tournament. Then we look for a new manager because his substitutions again, they weren't even positive, were they? In that situation, go 2 up front. He just does like swaps.
No.
And
Do
they
you know
weren't
what I found with it, boys, as well? I found really, really frustrating is that he's brought off. I know I say this as an Arsenal fan, yeah. There was one attacking threat at one point. We started to look like we're getting in a little bit, yeah. And I don't know if you agree on this, boys, but Bukayo Saka on that right wing, he started to look a little tiny bit threatening. The only little bit of threat that we had, the little tiny bit when he was getting in trying to cross the ball, and he just took him off. And I was like, what are you doing? The only little bit of threat we had, you've just took him off. But I'm going to move in over to Doc. Welcome in, Doc. So everyone, welcome in, Doc. If you can please go and check out the Amateur Football Podcast. That's where these two gentlemen are from. So we've got Big P and we've got Doc. Doc, how are you? How are you feeling, mate? Can you sum up that? Just give us a quick summary of that performance before we move into things.
I think my Wi-Fi has literally showing the effects of like the England game. It's gone to sleep on me. So I sincerely apologise for that.
Okay.
And thank you for having me on.
No
Where do we start, boys? Where do we start? And how far do we go into this? Like, it's just when you think you couldn't see a more prolific Southgate performance, he totally fulfills himself and comes out with something even more Southgate. You know, I honestly thought when he brought Gallagher on, I thought, right, hang on a minute, he's actually making an early change now. Here we go. And then he backs that up by the 3 changes that he made that would have potentially changed the game. He changes in the 70-odd minute, 15 minutes after Gallagher. And I'm thinking to myself, I was on live when it happened, and I said, you do not bring Gallagher on to change the format of a game. You bring Gallagher on to bring in a bit more energy. But unless you're going to bring on the other players that he brought on at the same time, nothing's going to change. Gallagher's not a game changer. Gallagher's someone that brings a bit more energy to the side. But if you've got 10 players that aren't like bringing the energy that he's bringing, he's just like a headless chicken. So the substitutes, I don't want to criticise too much because I have said that I want to see him bringing these players on. But it was the timing of the substitutes for me. I think he showed a little bit about him with regards to taking Kane off. I think the old Southgate wouldn't have took Kane off, and especially after he actually scored the goal as well. But so I'll give him 1 pat on the back for bringing Kane off. But like I said, the subs should have all happened at the same time in that sort of 55th minute, and then the way that the game shaped up. I know you just said about Saka having the only threat, but I think Ollie Watkins looked quite lively.
Definitely. When he come on, 100%. 100% when he came on. Yeah.
I actually thought it was Saka's worst game in an England shirt I've seen in ages. To be honest with you, I thought he was hopeless. I really do. And I know you support Arsenal, boys, but
I think everyone was, Big P. I think every single person. Do you know whose worst performance that was, lads?
Saka brings to the game. If he was to, do you know what I mean? That's his inconsistency. And if we go into Tuesday's game, if people are going to tell me, we're going to win it, I'd like to see from what aspect you think we're going to win it. And if you think it's coming home, I'm sorry to say, but you probably need to make a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know who I generally thought the worst player on the pitch was? Yeah, you're a West Ham fan, aren't you? I'm an Arsenal fan. I've never seen Declan Rice play that poorly before in my life. Yeah. I've never seen him play that poorly, and I love Declan. He's one of my favourite players. Yeah. And then people hear me out. Yeah, we're not here trolling. We're not here. We have every single right to criticise a player who plays like that. Whether they play for Arsenal, whether they play for Tottenham, whether they play for West Ham, whether they play for Palace, we have every single right to criticise these players. What we do, we criticise them and we say, look, you played poorly, but we don't abuse them. And then when the next game comes, we move on and we get behind them. But Declan Rice was extremely poor. People saying to me on my TikTok live before as well about Foden, he need literally today, still after the game, he needs to play 10. People, what are you not seeing? He played 10 today. He played in the 10 position, people. He played in that pocket. He literally played. He did play as a left winger. We had one winger on the pitch. We had one winger on that pitch. And I'm sorry if I'm screaming and shouting, people, but it was absolutely diabolical. Southgate. Wow. Yeah. That's all I could say. It's just wow. Adam, touch on it for me, brother. Touch on some players for me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely true. I mean, Kane was hopeless. Okay, he scored a goal, but, he couldn't really miss from that position. I'm not going to give anybody, great credit from scoring a chance like that. Okay, it wasn't a particularly difficult one to put away. I thought Foden It just shows how poor he was against Serbia. He was actually slightly better today, but that really goes to highlight how poor he was against Serbia. I don't know what Cole Palmer has to do, by the way, to get a look in. I really don't at this point. I do not understand why he's not been given 10, 15 minutes at all. Obviously, touched on Gallagher coming on. I predicted it. I said to my mate who I was watching the game with, I said, Southgate, mark my words, he'll bring on Gallagher. It's always the same. It's samey. Tactically samey, and there's no variation. Yeah, okay, yes, he took Kane off, but rightly so. Kane had an absolute shocker. He wasn't running. He looked slow. He looked laboured, as did most of the team. Completely agree with what you say about Rice. Same as you, Jamie. Love him to pieces. Absolute Arsenal. He's going to be an Arsenal legend, but he's really, really poor today. And I honestly think that Denmark will come away from that game feeling like they should have won the match. And I think that tells you everything you need to know. And I completely agree with you when you say that, you know, anybody who thinks it's coming home, no. Can you see us beating Portugal? No. Can you see us beating Spain? No. Can you see us beating France? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Where's the evidence to suggest from those two performances? Let's not forget Serbia could have taken something the other day, and we're actually probably unlucky not to do so. And today, when Denmark went 1-1, Jamie, I thought to myself, brilliant. He's going to have to twist. He can't stick because we're not winning this game. We can't put 10 men behind the ball and defend this. We've got to go for the juggler. But he didn't. And it's just, I just don't know what this manager needs to actually change things and actually be dynamic. We've got a great squad. These players are all fantastic in the Premier League every single week for their clubs. They are, so I just don't understand what is going wrong here. I mean, he needs to have a good hard look at himself, I think. I'm sorry.
Go on, Doc. Go on. What are you going to say, brother?
Can I just say what's going wrong? And there's something you've just said, Adam, but there's one flaw in the system of what you just said. Southgate's got 5 players on that pitch not playing where they play in the league. That's the biggest problem. And I appreciate what Jamie said with regards to Foden playing in the 10. But there's a big difference between playing in the 10 and everyone knows he's playing in the 10 and the ball goes to the 10, or drifting on it off the left to play in the 10. Now, for me, it's very, very apparent. There's 11 players on that pitch and 5 of them are not doing and not playing in the position that they've made a name for themselves. So you're taking these players on merit, on what they're doing at club level, but then you're still not utilising them in the way that they get the props for why you pick them. And that's, for me, is the problem. You might get away with 1, you may get away with 2, but 5 in the starting 11 playing out of position is not good enough.
It's not. It certainly is a big P. Is there any players that I'm not saying? Is there any players that you thought were particularly poor? I know the whole team pretty much. So I'm going to put out there that every single player was a 4. I think that the Koyo was about a 5, and I think that Guehi was about a 7. I think Guehi was easily our best player. But who do you think? Do you want to bring up some players for me, Big P?
I think Pickford didn't really have much to do, did he, other than pick the ball out of the back of his net. So I'd probably give him a 5.
Yeah.
Walker, I'd give a 4. Stones, I'd give a 4. Guehi a 6.
Yeah.
Trippier a 3. Rice a 3.
Yeah.
Trent a 3. Bellingham a 3. Saka a 4. Foden a 4. Kane probably got his goal. I'll give him a 4. I don't think it was that great, mate. I really don't. And to be honest with you, if people think that we can go into the Slovenia game and win it, again, you probably need to book yourself a doctor's appointment. And I can really see us going out in the group stages there.
Yeah.
That's how damn beat I am. I can really see us losing to Slovenia. We go out in the groups and everyone goes, oh, well, it's the best generation of footballers we've ever had.
It is. And just because we've got a lousy manager in there.
And the most successful manager that we've ever had.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll even go out, even if we lose. I think I want to try and shine. I think 4 points would be enough to get through. But that being said, I have no fear that we will go out in the group stage at all. I really don't. But
Hang on,
like
so-
I've said,
so you're saying 4 points have been enough for
Yeah, because you can
Slovenia?
still make the top. You
Slovenia,
can still finish that third position, and then 4 of them get it.
yeah,
So-
well, we might go through as the best third place, but
Yeah, that's what I mean. So either way,
That's
we're
what I
pretty
mean.
much through, but we just ain't fully qualified yet.
and then I'd
Go on,
hate to
Doc.
think who we get in the next round if we finish third.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
like-
not looking good.
so like I said, regardless if we go through or if we don't, the reality is if we don't go through top of the group, we're going to come up against one of the big hitters sooner rather than later. And the bottom line is when we come up against a big hitter, unless England do what England tend to do and up their game against the big nations, there's only one outcome. There's only one outcome. So, you know,
There
I'm not too concerned with a win. Sorry, I'm being distracted. Spain are 1-0 up and have just nearly scored again. It was
Yeah,
no goal.
yeah. I've just seen it as well.
Yeah, apologies for that.
It's fine.
I've just lost my momentum there. With regards to like England and going through, I'm not concerned by the win and the draw. It's the style of play.
Yeah.
It's like Manchester won an FA Cup this year. It's papering over the cracks. The performances that we're putting are poor. There's no other word for it other than poor. And there's no excuse for it. And for me, it is all to do with Southgate not picking the players in the positions they play for their club. I think that there's players there that you can do. There's ways he can change it up if he chooses to change it up. You could have gone 3 at the back today. You could have gone with Walker at the back with Stones and Geehee. You could have then put Gordon as your left wing back, so to speak. You could have then put Saka as your right wing back. You then can put Foden in his natural 10, where everyone knows that he's the 10 and he's there, he's going to link. Bellingham can play the 8 as opposed to wearing a 10 shirt playing the 8. You could then have the interlock from defence to midfield to attack. We haven't got that. We haven't got that at all. Kane's up top doing absolutely nothing because there's no link-up play there whatsoever and the ball's not going to him.
Yeah.
How many times tonight did the ball bounce off of Harry Kane when he got into his feet? It was
You know
endless.
what? I was going to say exactly the same thing.
It was endless.
Exactly the same thing.
For a big man of Kane's stature and the goal, he's a fantastic finisher of the ball, but his hold-up play is disgusting.
It was
Absolutely
awful,
disgusting.
wasn't it? It was awful. And do you know what I found as well? So you used to both know, I come over to the Amateur Football Podcast yet, and I said, we're going to smash Denmark. Don't worry about it, lads. And I'm like, you know me, I'm so positive. And I'm just like, what is this? Trent, I backed Trent playing that centre midfield position because creatively, he's our best player with the ball at his feet. But wow, he was absolutely shocking. He was diabolical. And the thing I found, they were trying to find each other, yeah, but there was that big gap between the forwards and the midfield. There was no cohesion. And with Trent, the way Trent plays, he spreads the ball out width. So he'll hit it all the way out to the left, or, you know, you want to spread that pass. We had no left winger there. We had no width for Trent to play. So Trent shouldn't have played in that game. If he was going to go with that lineup and that formation where Foden would drop in a little bit like in the pocket, why would you play Trent? When Trent, that's what the balls that Trent looks for is, you know, them big long diagonal balls to break through. That's what he does. That's what Trent does when he plays in that type of position. But they didn't set up for Trent to play at all. So why did he play in there? That's what I don't understand. If you're going to play for Trent, if you want to fit Trent in and you want to play him in that position, then why not do it to his capabilities and then play the way if you're going to build around it? Why play in a different manner?
I'm going to be a little bit controversial.
Yeah.
In this England team with Harry Kane up top, I think you need to play Eze in the 10.
I can back it.
I think Eze links up with Mateta more so than most. I think that not only does he link up, but he scores goals from there. And I think that you've got to play Eze in the 10 with the formation that we're trying to play. That's controversy, if you like. Think I'm being biased because I'm Palace, if you like. I think the reality is the proof's in the pudding.
Well, something needs to change, Doc. Something needs to change. I'm just going to go to this comment, people. Southgate out of his depth tactically. Dreadful substitutions too late. No positive substitutions, no emphasis. For me, what do we think about that, Adam?
Completely agree. Absolutely, completely agree with that. Like I've said, lads, I do not know at this point what one of the best Premier League players this season. Can we just bear in mind, Cole Palmer was second, I think, in the Golden Boot runnings, or second or third. He got 23 goals in a struggling Chelsea side, has so much that he can offer the team, and he's not played a single minute. And if that's going to be the case, then why take him? Why not go with someone more dependable like a Jordan Henderson? Because he's picked that squad on an emphasis of bringing exciting, young, dynamic players into this tournament over to Germany for this, and he's not using them. He's not using them in the way that we want to see, and it's so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. We're all frustrated by this.
Do you know what the
And,
thing is, though, Adam?
I completely agree with this comment. Absolutely, it's completely disappointing. And actually, I think Southgate needs to move on, because we have had really good teams over these past 3 tournaments: 2018, 2020, and now this tournament. And best English squad for years and years, since 2006, with the likes of Beckham and Lampard and Gerrard. And we're in that sort of rich vein of English players again. And we're struggling. We're talking about going out in the group stage. This is what we're left with. We could have drawn with Serbia and we could have lost tonight. Those are the facts.
Big P, you're about to touch on something then, bro. Go on.
I don't think he knows how to use them. That's a simple answer. I really generally don't think he knows how to use them. It's a bit like watching David Moyes, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but do you know the funny thing, though? Do you know the funny? He had another. He actually didn't even use. He actually didn't even use his maximum sub. You're struggling in a game. You want to make a change. You've made all them subs, and you've got a goal scorer on the bench, or 2 goal scorers on the bench if you're talking about Tony, and you don't even use your full capacity substitutions. That tells me everything I need to know. That is a manager that's got a plan A, and a plan A. Yeah. And when plan A don't work, I'm going to go with plan A.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. I'm going to read this comment out, people, and we'll see. What I'll do, I'll go from Adam all the way down and see what you all think about this comment. We need a back 3, more solidity, an extra man in attack, Walker's recovery pace, Guehi aerially strong, and Stones dropping into midfield. I'll start off at the bottom with Doc. What do you think to a back 3, brother?
I'm not opposed to a back 3. I'm really not. And I honestly believe that if we would have won today, you could have trialled that, because we would have been guaranteed top spot. We would have been guaranteed playing the 3rd team going forward. And it would have been a perfect opportunity to try that. I just think it's a bit risky to be doing that now. If you was going to do that, your hand was forced at the very beginning when you had no left back. So I'm not opposed to about timing now. And maybe, maybe that's like, we need to do that. That's something that I think you needed to work on leading into the competition if you was going to do that. So I'm not opposed to the idea, and I have obviously just touched on the 3 that I would play and where I would do that. But I don't think that the formation is the issue. I generally don't. I think it's the players that he's picking in there. I think he's trying to put squares and circles together, and it don't work. It just doesn't work. He needs to put a left winger on the left wing, whether you go with Eze or a Gordon. You need the balance of the team right, and he's still picking his favourites. And, it's as simple as that. Until he picks the best players for the job, as opposed to the best players on paper, we'll have the same problem.
Same old. You're exactly right. I think now it's a bit too late for the back 3. Exactly what you said. We've got to go in and win the last game to win the group. So we can't be. What we needed to do today was win, and that pretty much solid. Literally, we would have finished first. Pretty much, we'd have had to have miraculously lost 3 or 4-0 to Slovenia for us not to finish first, kind of thing. So all we need to do
we
today.
Would have been guaranteed first. If we would have won today, we'd have been guaranteed first.
Yeah, exactly. So we need just to go in and go get a result today, and then we could have rested players that last 3rd game. We could have rested them. We could have tried out new things because it weren't properly working, kind of thing. But now we don't have that opportunity, which is Southgate's fault. Big P, what do you think to a back 3?
I think go for it. I think it gives us more of an attacking edge, doesn't it? I'd go with literally a 3-5-2, and I'd play a midfield 3 of Rice, Bellingham, and maybe Trent, because you could lose him in there. You haven't got to carry someone. I feel like Rice is carrying him. And I go 2 up front. I'd scrap the wingers completely. Put them all on the bench. I'd sack. Do you know what I mean? I'd go with a Kane and a Watkins.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you're actually scrapping the wingers, though, because if you're playing 3-5,
because you play with the wing backs, and your wing backs would be
but that's what I'm saying.
Side, Kyle Walker the other.
That's what I mean. The wing backs would be the wingers. It's not like we're trying to go narrow.
I wouldn't play Kyle Walker at centre half either. I'd put Konza in there or Joe Gomez. Play Walker and it proved it tonight, because the only time we scored was when he went down the wing. All right, the defender didn't know he was there, but he still got the ball and he crossed the ball and we scored from it. He's wasted at centre half. Go Konza, Geehee, and Stones as your centre halves. Trippier one side.
I think the only you know when you the saying where it's okay out of a bad bunch, out of the bad bunch. I think Guehi was the only one where he was kind of respectful. You know what, he could hold his head high, kind of thing. Adam, what do you think about a back three, brother? And then we're going to move on to some more comments.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. That we could try it. I mean, at this point, you know, what we've been doing hasn't been working, and I'd like to see some tactical fluidity at this point. As you've said, we're just tactically too rigid, you know. And you're absolutely right. Plan A, plan A, plan A. Whereas, you know, he's supposedly a top manager. Supposedly, a top manager should have plan A, plan B, plan C. And for different moments, different games, different opponents. So I think we could well try something different. I also agree that if Kane is going to play in the next match, he needs to have another striker play with him. Whether that is Ivan Toney, whether that's Ollie Watkins, like tonight, I give Watkins a go, possibly. But we need to change something because what we're doing is just not working.
Yeah, so Whitehead 571. Thank you for your comments coming in. Obviously, Ben Port had a comment before. We do appreciate all of the love and support over on this channel, and if you could go show that same love and support over on the Amateur Football Podcast as well, because these two gentlemen are over from that podcast, both lovely gentlemen, both taking their time out to come over on It's Coming Home podcast with me and Adam. I'm going to read out this comment that says Kobe Mainoo or Wharton should be given the opportunity to play alongside Rice, offering a different dynamic, which I completely agree on. I think that I went in thinking Trent, obviously, Isley was technically our best player, but after that performance, after the two performances he's had, he has to be dropped, I think, personally. And I would bring in either Wharton or Mainoo, and I completely agree with it. I can't see any other alternative. It's got to be, because it ain't working. It ain't working. Some things have got to change. They've got to bring on a left winger. They've got to bring on a centre midfielder. There's a lot of change. I'd say 2 or 3 you can just like pluck away, bring them in, and then bring some others in. Because if you change too much, it's too much going on, kind of thing. But what do you think, Doc, about a Kobe Mainoo or a Wharton coming in for Trent?
Oh, by the way, so Whitehead is one of ours, funny enough. So
how is he? Thank you for coming over, brother.
Yeah, I've just tweaked who it is. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for coming with us onto this podcast, Whitehead. So big up to you for your support. You've been very supportive of us all along. So show the boys some love as well. You've now got another channel because I know you love your football. With regards to Wharton and Mainoo, I'm not opposed to the idea. I think they're both really. I think Mainoo in there could potentially bring a different dimension. I don't think a Wharton in there is going to necessarily help. I just think that Wharton and Rice, if you're going to put Wharton in there, that will free Rice to go forward a little bit more. But you don't put Wharton in there to sit with Rice as two holders. I'm not agreeing with 2 holding midfielders. I think that it's too defensive, and I don't like the concept. So I would happily have Wharton in there to play that pass into the front lot a lot quicker, which is what he does at Palace. And that's where you get the best out of him. Mainoo is a baller, and I love Mainoo, and I think he carries the ball very well. And I think Mainoo in there would be a bit more lively than a Trent in there. Now Trent's going to try and pass the ball through the lines. Mainoo can carry the ball through them lines. So I'm not opposed to that idea. But if it's all right with you, can I give some props to one player?
Of course, go for it, mate. Go for it. Go on.
Now, this isn't just because he's a Crystal Palace player, but this is because of the flack that he was getting before the tournament started. A lot of people were saying Guehi shouldn't start for England. And I think he's proven to everyone what I've been saying all along. He's the best of a bad bunch. And when Maguire left, you know, he's been flawless.
Quality, mate. Absolutely quality, Doc. Quality. I can't fault him. He's been the best player. I would say over them 2 games, he's been the best player, 100%. 100%. He's been England's best player over 2 games. And I can't even deny it. You know what, Doc? I writ him off. I thought that Konsa should play in front of him. I didn't say he was a bad player. I just said Konsa. And now looking at it, I would love, me personally, as an Arsenal fan, I'd love to have a Guehi awesome player. He showed so much responsibility, so much leadership at such a young age to stand out in front of all of these players and playing. And no offense to you, but playing for Crystal Palace, where it's like he's not playing on the big stage, like Champions League football and stuff. To show that at the Euros is exceptional, absolutely exceptional. I think he's. I know we're not playing well, but he needs his props. I completely agree with you, and I think Guehi's been. How did you say? Is it Guehi or is it Guehi?
It depends which way you pronounce it. Everyone says it's slightly different, but yeah, Guehi.
Yeah, 100%, Doc. 100%. He gets his props, and I completely back it, bro. I completely back it. He can hold his head up high today. The only player that can. And like I said, Big P didn't agree really, but. I think Saka, to me, he's the only one who looked like he was trying and he was running and he was trying to do something. All the other players, they just looked lethargic. They just didn't look like they didn't even want to be there. And then Saka to kind of look like he was running, and he weren't good. Don't get me wrong. He was about 5, but he was better. He was kind of better than the other ones. And then he was a bit above Saka, kind of thing, if you get what I'm saying. Whitehead has said, yes, I'm a regular on Big P's and Doc's Live. Shown love to all. Thank you so much for your love and support, brother. We've got another comment to get through on Ben Port. Where's it just gone? The comments are flying in. People keep them coming in. Where are we at? Ben Port, what does the second top goal scorer in Cole Palmer have to do to get some minutes in? I don't know why we ain't seen him yet, and I completely agree. If we're going to go put Bellingham in the 8, take off Foden, bring in Palmer. Yeah. I think Foden's had 2 poor games now. He's had his chance. He needs to be dropped. Yeah. In my personal opinion. I know he got player of the season last season, but stop trying to fit all the best players in. He's had his 2 chances now. He's had his audition. He's had his interview, and he's failed miserably. And that we can criticise the players. There's no agenda. We can criticise him. What do you think, Big P, about a Palmer coming in for Foden?
Nah, don't agree with it, mate. For honest, I think they're similar players. I don't think we gain from it. I don't think it's negative, but I think they're similar players. I'd rather much see an Eze, who carries the ball, runs at defenders, frightens, wins free kicks. Cole Palmer, he's exactly the same as Saka on the right. He slows the game down. He try and pick out a pass, and then, do you know what? He's had one good season. Fair play to him. But let's see if he does it next year, because I don't think he will.
Yeah, I just think.
Generally thinking, I think people hype this geezer up so much that.
He did have 37 goal contributions last season. 37.
That's fine. But let's see if he has 37 this year or 40 this year.
But you did just say Eze, and Eze what's had a season or 2 seasons.
Eze's been out injured and has come back a better player than what he went before he went off injured, and he's more frightening, and he's something different.
I agree with you. I just think Foden should be dropped for any of them, brother. Any of them. Yeah. I think Eze could come in. I think Palmer. I just think that Foden deserves to be dropped.
Out of the squad, Cole Palmer and Anthony Gordon are 2 of the most overrated players. I can't get my head around it.
Fair enough, bro. I respect your opinion. Doc, what do you reckon, brother?
Foden's had a great season and he's not working on the left-hand side because he's not a left winger. So we're now trying to solve that problem with another player that's done well in the Premier League to go on the left-hand side who's not a left winger.
No, brother, we were saying dropping Bellingham into the 8 and maybe bringing in Palmer as the 10.
Yeah, but if you're bringing Palmer in at the 10, then Foden going off isn't for Palmer, is it?
No, it'd be Trent. You drop Trent to put Bellingham in the 8.
You bring in Palmer, and then on the left-hand side, you bring in a Gordon or something. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue. I just think on Foden with regards to the fact that if you're going to put Palmer in the 10, then why would you not put the 10 that was the best player in the league this season, which was...
Because he pretty much played there today. His Wi-Fi's gone. Big P, do you not think that Foden played pretty much as a left 10 today?
No, I thought he was given more of a license. I thought he was better than what he was the other day, bear in mind.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
Especially in the first half. But he still wasn't great. Now, I think if you start Foden as that 10, he's not having to come in from the left.
To sit in the pocket kind of thing.
I would just let... I think Foden's got more potential than Bellingham. If Foden was playing for Real Madrid, we'd all be raving about it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I still think that Foden can offer us something. And do you know what, Jay? I want to say it quickly.
Yeah, go on.
The only time we looked dangerous tonight is when Declan Rice pressed from that goal kick.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we didn't do it again after it. Okay, and my second thing is, this is why Jack Grealish should have gone.
Yeah, I back it 100%.
Because he does something different that no one else does.
Mm-hmm.
It'll
That's
draw
what I
you-
mean.
do you know
I
what
agree
mean?
with you, bro, because I think that Jack Grealish on the left-hand side and a Saka on the right would have been perfect.
Yeah, and I think this is why Jack Grealish should have gone. Whether he had a good season, a mediocre season, whatever you thought of his season, this is why he should have gone, because he offers something different that no one else gives us.
Yeah, it's very, very depleting. I'm not even like, I'm not angry. I'm more like, this is disgraceful. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, wow. When someone disappoints you, it's like that.
Do you know
Like
when
you're
you,
disappointed.
do you know when you watch club football
Yeah,
and you think to yourself, like, probably not from an up, well, go back Arsenal 5-6 years,
yeah, definitely.
and
When we're
a
eight,
West Ham probably not, and you think to yourself, I don't know where our next win's coming from.
yeah, neither.
That's what
Yeah,
it
neither
feels
do
like
I.
now, being an England
It's,
fan. You just
it's,
can't
it's
see the next win.
It's very, very depleting, isn't it? It's very, very depleting. I don't know. I think his internet's just gone now. Um, Adam, what do you think? What do you think needs to change? Give me your starting 11. Like, what should your starting 11 be? Sorry, boys, I'm just trying to get up the chat, but the need help sign is literally right in front of the chat for me. But yeah, what would you go for starting 11, Adam? Go on, mate. Give me your starting 11.
Well, I think the defense picks itself because it doesn't look like Shaw's going to be back. I take Alexander Arnold out. It's not worked in midfield. Simple as. It's not worked. Start Gallagher instead. I mean, I've made no sort of surprise of it. I do rate Palmer. I think he deserves a chance. But then you could equally go with any of those younger players that we've been talking about, Palmer or Eze or and the one thing I wanted to touch on as well with Adam Wharton, because he was briefly brought up, although I'm not a Palace fan myself, when I've watched the highlights, he always plays the ball forward. He's always looking for a forward pass. And I know that sounds like very simple analysis, but we don't appear to be doing that at the moment. We don't appear to be actually making those good passes. Actually opening up spaces, things like that. So I think there is an argument for a Wharton. So I would probably go with I'd probably put Gallagher in for Alexander Arnold. I think, to be honest, it's not worked in midfield. He's a liability at right back. We've seen Martinelli tear him a new one in the league more times than I can count. So I think really, I know this is going to sound very harsh, but that should be his tournament really, because he can't be trusted in that position. So I think the changes I would make would be Shaw, if he's back, goes in defence. Obviously, I think we're struggling with a player that's not actually going with his dominant foot on that side as well. And I know that that's been mentioned. I'd drop Kane. I would drop Kane. Southgate won't, but I would. I'd drop Kane and I'd replace him with either an Ivan Toney or an Ollie Watkins. So I'd probably make 3 or possibly 4 changes. I'd drop Foden. He's had his chance, Jamie, like you said. That doesn't mean you can't bring him on. That doesn't mean
exactly.
you can't give him minutes, but you drop him from the starting lineup.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think
Simple as
that's perfectly valid at this point. He's had
Yeah.
2 games and he's not done it, as you say.
No.
He's had his audition, he's had his interview, and it's not gone very well. So he should be on the bench for the next one. So Kane out, Foden out, Shaw back in if he's available. Certainly 3. And I'd obviously replace with Palmer, Watkins, maybe a Kobbie Mainoo as well could be a shout. So I'd make 3 or 4 changes minimum.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree with you there. I'm just going to put. Sorry, I've just got to pull up some more comments. Charlene Ann has said hi. How is everyone? I'm doing very well. I think that's Charlene. Adam, you're doing very well, ain't you? And Big P.
Yeah, good. All good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Doc is back. Welcome back, Doc, brother.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
It's okay, brother. Don't worry about it. We're just flying through a few comments. I'm gonna pull myself back over so we can get through the comments. Guehi's rise for me has been remarkable. I completely agree. Someone's put Palmer needs a chance. I'm just gonna get to some more questions for everyone. There's some people saying hello and stuff like that. And then we'll just get to this one here. It says Trent also decided to drive into open space once and it hurt Denmark. I think Rice and our other holding midfielders should push whilst attacking because it can cause problems. Big P did touch on this literally about Declan Rice. Big P, do you want to say something, bro?
Where it says Trent also decided to drive into space. Yeah, he did drive into that space, but the ball he played after it went about 10 yards behind the player it should have gone to.
It went behind Foden, didn't it?
It's all right driving into space, but make a pass to someone's feet or in front of them. Foden had to check, run about 4 miles back the other way to collect the ball. You know what I mean?
I think what he's touching on is that we didn't drive into. I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I drive
I do
into
remember
space,
you ran through, and the pass was awful, weren't it?
It was rank.
Doc, we've just been touching on who you would bring in and out of the team. I didn't actually get over to Big P, but I'll come to you afterwards, Big P. Doc, who would you bring in and bring out? Just say, like, what's your starting 11? Give me your starting 11 for the next game against Slovenia.
What's my starting 11 or what is Southgate going to do?
But let's not worry about Southgate. What would you go with?
I would probably try to get a bit more balance in this team. So I think I would probably go with, I think it's too early for sure. So I think Walker picks himself. I think Geehee picks himself. I think Stones picks himself. I think Pickford picks himself. The left, I don't really care what you do with the left anymore, to be honest. If you want to try Gomez, that's great. Maybe that's the option. Give Gomez a run out at left back. But if you want to keep Trippier there, fine, no problem. But if you're going to keep Trippier there, you need to put someone on the left side that's going to give him the support and give him the encouragement that he can come forward. So I think it's time for Trent to come out. I think Rice stays. I think I'm touring between two things: putting Mainu in there and freeing Rice up to go forward more, or keeping Rice where he is and putting Bellingham next to him, and then that would free up the chance to put Foden in or Palmer in the 10. But I to be honest with you, because you've asked me what I would do, I'd put Eze in the 10. I'd put Eze in the 10. I'd put Gordon out on the left. Gordon would give Trippier a bit of cover. Would I drop Kane? I don't think I would drop Kane, to be honest. I don't think I'd drop Kane. I feel like Kane's got a goal in him. And I feel like
if it's a different system, it might suit him better than what it's been doing anyway.
I think you work to his strengths a little bit more. And I think you just get Kane doing his natural game. If he wants to drop in and let Bellingham go past him, let a Rice go past him, and let Saka coming off the wing, let a Gordon or an Eze go past him, I'm all for that. But I just think that that's the core of the changes that I would make myself.
Yeah, Mickey's put a few comments in. Mickey, a couple of your comments are swearing, so I can't put them on the screen, brother. If you stop swearing, I can put it on the screen for you. But you put Mainu 100, which we've all agreed on, and Mainu could potentially come in. I've just scrolled over your comment by accident, brother. Kevin Fran has put, I wasn't praising Foden, or I just mean push on the attack. Yeah, we know that. We were just laughing at Trent afterwards, kind of thing. Whitehead has put, once it comes up, I think Trent for me is a player you bring on to hurt teams if you're chasing a game at the end rather than starting and sticking with him. I completely agree. Once they're leggy, and then the team's struggling, and then they've opened up a little bit better, that's when Alexander-Arnold potentially could come in and he could open up some gates to get through the team, kind of thing. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
Yeah, the only thing Trent should be opening is the water bottles after the game, and I'd send him on the next flight back to Liverpool, if I'm honest.
Oh, he's been awful.
He would be playing for me for the rest of the tournament. I totally agree. Do you know what, Jay? I'd make some serious changes.
Yeah, go on. You tell me.
Serious changes.
Tell me your changes, bro. Go on.
I'd go with stick with Pickford. I'd go with Saka at left back because he's played there for Arsenal before. I'd go with Geehee and Konza at centre half. I'd go with Walker at right back. My midfield would be Walton sitting, let Rice go forward, and then I would go with Bowen, Eze, Bellingham, and Kane.
Fair enough, brother. Fair enough.
Why are we trying to play with a geezer at left back that don't play left back for his club anyway? Probably never played left back in his career, and we're trying to stick him there now. So I mean, for me, Saka's played there. Just put him there for a game or two whilst Shaw's just on the road to recovery.
Yeah,
I've
Saka
got
did
a
start
funny
out there about
feeling.
4 seasons ago. Yeah.
I've got a funny feeling, right? I've got £10 in my pocket, and it's the last tenner I've got. And that tenner I'm putting on Mickey is a Manchester United fan.
Yeah, 100%. You ain't seen the comments what are in here in the
I can
chat.
see him.
Oh, can you see them? Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be
we've not
mainly for me.
mentioned- we haven't mentioned him yet.
He's been good for 6 months. I think he'd be perfect for the next World Cup. I think this tournament just come a bit too
Yeah,
early.
but-
For
Yeah,
him.
that's what I think as well. I think
Yeah, but do you want to hear something funny? He's saying
that, brother?
about Coney Mainu is head and shoulders above these clowns. We spanked you 4-0 at Sellers Park, and Walton had him in his pocket and run circles around him.
You did spank him as well 4-0, didn't you?
So, how do you like them apples?
I'm going to bring Kevin's comment up because Kevin's been lovely. Whitehead and Kevin have both been lovely. And we've got 21 people just on YouTube Live now watching us. Just literally on YouTube Live, we've got 21 people, which is a very, very good turnout just for YouTube Live. If you put Trent on to hurt teams late, you need people making runs through like Watkins today or someplace sitting wide. But if we can see Mainoo or Gallagher instead of that, that would be great. I think Gallagher came in and he was a bit lively, but he was poor as well when he came in. I think.
Do you know what?
I'm all up for a Wharton to come in. I really am.
I actually thought Gallagher was lucky to stay on the pitch.
Yeah. He could have been red carded, boys. He really could because I know he was enthusiastic and he was throwing a little boot and throwing legs around, but it could have come back to bite him in the ass. To be honest with you, isn't it? Like it really generally could have. He got that yellow and then he started pulling people back and making fouls. I'm like, what are you doing, mate? But I just got to the point where I was just sitting there watching it just in pure disgust that I weren't even analysing the game anymore because I was just sitting there like, what are you doing? Like just sitting there in disgust. I don't know about you guys. I didn't even want to watch it no more. And that's just being honest, going from watching Arsenal, and this is not just bringing Arsenal for no reason, where we play really, really good football. It's nice passing football. It's progressive. And we press so hard to this. It's like watching paint dry, boys. Like it's, and I don't mean to bring up Arsenal, but if you've watched Arsenal this season, we suffocate teams, and this is the complete opposite.
I think that's really disrespectful because I think there's a lot of painters out there that would rather watch the paint dry than watch an England.
Yeah, me. That's what I used to do, dot painting.
Yeah,
I'll be brutally honest with you. I watched Anderson Poese down by his hair. I had a little giggle because they're both Crystal Palace teammates, and Mrs. asked me to do so. I went, yeah, no problem. I mean...
Come on, lad. We've been on for about 50 minutes. There's a few more comments. We'll get through them. We'll do 1 or 2 more comments if that's all right with you, lads. And then I think we'll come over to the last little segment. One sec. It's just this cursor on here. Whitehead. I wanted Branthwaite to go. I haven't pulled it up yet. I wanted Branthwaite to go. 2-footed player, and I think he would have done a job at left back, 100%. I think Branthwaite. He's literally. I thought Branthwaite was left footed, and he actually even left footed apparently. Lads, did you know that Branthwaite's actually right footed? I thought he was left footed.
I ain't watched him enough, mate, to know what foot he is. I don't watch Everton like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Mickey has said good night. We're gonna come off now. We've touched on the comments. We've been going for an hour. We've vented our frustrations, boys, haven't we? Adam, I'm going to touch on one last thing. What I always kind of talk about. Obviously, it's been a struggle for people. So people's mental health ain't going to be too great after that game. So please, people, mental health awareness is very, very important. Look out for someone today. Like I always say, if you're on the bus, if you've got your AirPod in now, listen to my podcast. But you're on the bus or the train, take it out. Say hello to the person next to you, just checking on people, loved ones, family members. And I don't know if you two boys, Doc, I'll start with you. Do you know what Tabrice's charity is by any chance? Because I haven't got him to send it to me yet, so I don't know if you want to plug it or anything.
It's to be honest, it's not. I can find it if you give me 1 sec. But if you
Should we move over to you, Big P? Do you want to touch on anything towards like the kind of end of the end? I need you to drop your plugs either way, people. So do you want to drop your plugs and everything, Big P, like your socials?
Yeah. So on my personal TikTok is at WHUFC 2022-90. Our Amateur Footballer Extra Time is our TikTok for our podcast, and also the Amateur Footballer on YouTube. We go live every Monday at 9:30, so that's 9 p.m. at 9:30 p.m. We talk everything football, whether it's England, Spain, not too much Scotland, but yeah,
It's
everything
a really,
football.
really
And
good pod. Really, really good pod. Obviously, I've been on over there. What I'll do, people, in the YouTube bio, which you will see, I will literally tag them. So as soon as you click on this video, it will literally be straight in the name, and you can literally click on their profile straight from the name. I'll literally tag them straight in it. So you can literally click straight on their profile, go over there. If you're from my end, go sub, or you're from Adam's end as well, because we're co-hosting. This is both of our podcasts together. If you want to go check out, Big P and Doc's podcast over there. I'm going to move over to Adam, and then have you got Tabrice's charity thing up yet?
Yeah, so the charity itself is called the MABA. So MABA is spelled M for mother, A for alpha, B for Bravo, A for alpha. MABA is a mental health awareness group that is literally trying to break the stigma to men talking out. So that is the charity.
Yeah. And what I'll do, people, as well, I will put that in the description of this YouTube podcast. I'll put it in the description, people, and go check it out, because mental health awareness is so important. So go check it out. It's for a good cause. It's for a good friend of all four of us, which is Tabrice, and he's a big promoter for it. He's lovely person, and he tries to spread awareness all through all the socials, through TikTok, through everything. Great person, and it's for a great cause, people. Doc, do you want to touch on your socials and everything?
Yeah, so as we've touched on already, me and Big P have got the we are part of the Amateur Footballer Extra Time podcast. My personal TikTok is Dr. Ketspire, as in Dr. Dr. _ Ketspire. It's spelt the same way as Tamori Ketspire. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. That's where my usernames come from, because if you look closely, I've got a slight resemblance to him, and I've also got him on a football pitch. So he actually scored at Selhurst Park and started kicking. He started kicking things, and that's when I got the nicknames. And there we are. You heard it here first. But yeah, thank you very much for having us on. We do appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Adam.
You too.
Everyone in the comments, thank you for your input, and it would be nice to see you over on ours.
Adam, do you want to touch on a few last little things, brother? Do you want to put yours? You're obviously, everyone knows my socials. It's Jamie Waffles Footy, which you're obviously watching on YouTube right now, or my Twitter. My TikTok is jgunat17, but I just want to promote everyone else, because that's just how we do it over here. Adam, drop your plugs.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. So I'm Arden Gunas, football, or shortened to AGN Football on TikTok. I'm AGN Entertainment now on YouTube and Twitter. So those are my handles. Yeah, be great if you could like, subscribe, and comment. The 3 punches, as Jamie calls it. We always appreciate that. And it's been a really good chat tonight. Lovely to meet both of you lads as well. Really enjoyed tonight's discussion. And yeah, let's hope we've got a bit more to cheer about in the next game.
Yeah, I just want to touch on one last thing, people. I just want to say thank you to both guests. Thank you to Adam for being a good co-host per usual. Remember to go check out their podcast. It's going to be in the bio. So literally when you search the name, it's going to be there. Click and go over and watch them, because they're both great lads, and they have such good football knowledge. And it goes wasted if you don't go and check them out. Go listen to them. Top lads. Anyways, we'll see you later. Stay blessed and keep peaceful. Yeah, people. Take care of yourselves.